Hi everyone, welcome to the Infinity Cricket podcast. My name is Nav, I'm the founder of Infinity Cricket, and today we have a very special guest, Australian cricket captain, Pat Cummins. Pat, thanks so much for joining us today. Talk us through a little bit of your recovery and obviously probably watching the Champions Trophy back home instead of being in the action is a little bit disappointing. How's the recovery process going?
Yeah, recovery's going well, thanks. Yeah, managed to have a bit of a break off bowling and running and kind of any kind of force in the ankle. So yeah, lots of rehab, lots of funny ankle exercises, but getting back into bowling this week, so should be fine for the IPL.
Yeah, fantastic. Did you have a look at some of the action last night with India and Pakistan?
I did. Yeah, India getting it done. Felt like Pakistan was probably a few runs short. Yeah, India 2 from 2, so it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, looking pretty strong. And then, of course, Australia's strong performance against England on Saturday night. You'd be pretty happy with the way the boys chased that total down?
They were amazing. Yeah, 350, the wicket looked really good, but to chase that down quite convincingly was top effort. Josh Inglis was amazing, Alex Carey, Matty Short, Maxwell, a few other guys chipped in around Joshy, but boys were fantastic. So, England a good side, beating them's always nice. So it sets us up well for the rest of the tournament.
What would be your top 4 teams, you think, for the semi-finals?
Good question. I mean, India, I'm guessing, already in there. Obviously, Australia, I've got to pick. I think you'd imagine, probably South Africa and maybe New Zealand.
Oh, yeah. Yep. New Zealand people playing some really good cricket as well.
Yeah, that's my guess. So I think they all can make it. They're in different sides, but different sides of the draw. That's
actually a pretty good segue because the Aussies are up against South Africa tomorrow night. How do you sort of see that matchup? And are you sort of still in communication with the boys there, or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously been following along on Prime Video.
Yep.
I've been speaking to the boys a little bit, but yeah, not really anything to do with tactics or anything. Let them go about their work. They're more than capable. So yeah, been quite nice following along as a fan back home.
Yeah.
So yeah, South Africa, had some wonderful battles with them over the years. Amazing match in Kolkata, semi-final of the 2023 World Cup. That was the last time we played them in an event. Two teams that play very similar styles. Got some hard-hitting batters, got some fast, quick bowlers. So I think it's going to be a wonderful match.
Looking forward to that one, actually. And South Africa, similar to Australia, I think all the big tournaments, they seem to step up and are very competitive.
Yeah, that's right. They have a knack of finding a way to win games. Yeah, again, that 2023 World Cup, they were fantastic. So, it was a huge win to beat them in that semi-final. So, yeah, it's all set up for a big one.
Yeah, amazing. I think for all the Indian audience around, the Border Gavaskar series this summer was a massive one. So obviously going into that series, India had won it twice, and so this one was quite an important one for yourself. Winning it would have been really special. How satisfying was that victory, and what did you make of the crowds this whole summer? I think it was pretty strong throughout.
It was such a great summer. The last few times we played India, they've won the series, and we knew there was a lot riding on this, and after a tough start in Perth, kind of to claw our way back convincingly was just so satisfying. And I've met so many people throughout the summer, but even after the series, who just said that's the best summer of cricket they've ever watched. They absolutely loved it, and Boxing Day was, I think, sold out for a few other days. SCG was sold out every day. The crowds were just fantastic all summer long.
Yeah, and playing in front of those crowds as well. For a player, it would be the ultimate dream, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think especially here in Australia during the summer, there's nothing else. School holidays, it's such a part of Australian culture is watching cricket, Test cricket over the summer. It did feel like the whole of Australia was watching and supporting along. So, as a player, you just want to be right in the middle of that. You don't want to be anywhere else, and lots of tense moments.
Yep.
But it's so rewarding when you end up with the win.
Yeah, fantastic performance there. Obviously, Australia's in the World Test Championship final later this year. How big is that for the team, and would you guys be preparing for it any differently?
The World Test Championship final is huge for us. It's been something we really talk about and play towards throughout the last couple of years of test matches. We obviously won it last time, so to defend that would be huge for our test group.
Yep.
It's coming up against South Africa, who we haven't played a lot in test cricket over the last few years, so there's a few unknowns there, but we've played a lot in England. I feel like we've got lots of guys in form. Obviously it's still a few months away to the final, but I feel like we're really well placed, so just so excited to get over there, and it's going to be a great final. We're all pumped up for it.
Yeah, amazing. Paddy, you've obviously had a lot of success captaining the side. You spoke a little bit about that 2023 World Cup final in Ahmedabad. I was actually there as well in the crowd.
Right.
It was, obviously an unforgettable moment for Australian cricket. Take us through sort of the mindset inside that day, what you guys did to get over India. Big crowd, obviously, and there was a lot of sort of hype leading up into that big final. I know sort of what was that chat in the locker room, and how did you guys sort of get yourselves together for that final?
I think a big game like that final in Ahmedabad is, there's two ways to go about it. You can be overawed by the situation, and India were undefeated. They're playing their home ground. So many things felt like it was falling into place for India. Yeah. So you can be overawed by that, or you can kind of think that you've got nothing to lose. And we spoke about before the match about finishing the match with no regrets.
Yeah.
Think back, look forward, 10 years time, how would you want to look back and think, how would you want to look back and remember how you played this game? And it was, being fearless. It was putting everything into it. It was not overthinking things, and that's the mindset that we went into the game with, and just trying to be brave. Really, India were really, really strong, so we thought we needed to try a few different things. So winning the toss, changing some of the bowling around, the batters being super aggressive, and it was just one of those days where everything came together beautifully.
Yeah, I think the wickets of Rohit Sharma, and then of course your dismissal of Virat Kohli were pretty significant moments, in India's batting, and then of course the chase was Travis Head unstoppable. Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't get any better than that. It's such a great day, but so many things came together well. The fielding the first 10 overs, just the boys were switched on. Trav Head was man of the match. He was amazing in batting innings, but felt like even on that day, so many people chipped in and did their little bits to for the overall result.
Yeah, fantastic. As a bowler, who do you think is the most difficult batsman you've ever bowled to?
I'd say, I think AB de Villiers at his peak was tough in all formats. He's just he had all the gears, so even in a test match, you felt like he could defend. The odds weren't in his favour, and it was really hard to get out. But then suddenly, if he's batting with the tail, he could flick a switch and hit any ball that he wanted for six. So he was always hard work.
Yeah, Mr. 360 they call him.
yeah, exactly.
Obviously, with Amazon Prime, a lot of the viewers, they love looking at the inside stories of the team through the test. How do you guys feel about that sort of content and bringing it, bringing the fans closer to the player? Did you enjoy sort of being part of that whilst it was being recorded, and then going in there obviously as a group and seeing it on the big screen?
I think before we did the first season, we weren't quite sure. What's pretty much unanimous throughout the group though is we all love sports and we all love other sports docos.
Yeah.
So we thought, it's almost our duty to, if we were a kid looking at the Aussie cricket team, we'd love to see an inside kind of documentary. So we felt some responsibility to give it a crack, and I think seeing the reaction from fans and people that have never watched cricket before and suddenly love the show, I mean, that's awesome to see. I think being able to showcase some of the personalities in the team that you don't see just by tuning to the matches, that's also great. I think it gives a bit of colour and maybe even the players who are going through a bit of a rough trot, I hope the public are a little bit more understanding. It's been great, and also we play all the time, and my memory's terrible, so I forget half the things that happen. But having a kind of a stamp, a moment in time that's catalogued forever is always good to go back to.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think one of my funny moments in that was what the team used to do as team bonding activities on tour. So how's your Call of Duty form these days, Pat?
A lot of that was filmed. Yes, when it was during COVID, or I was away for a long time. Now with two kids, I've got no chance of getting anywhere near Call of Duty, unfortunately. So Yeah, I need another quarantine situation to bring it back out.
Yeah, fantastic. I actually picked up your book, Tested.
Nice one.
Yeah, recently. Obviously it's a deep dive into leadership and resilience, and that's something that you're quite passionate about. And you've had a lot of conversations with prominent people, obviously from Julia Gillard to Dennis Lilly. What were some of the biggest insights you took from those discussions, and did any of that perspective really shift the way you think about leadership, decision making, and handling pressure? Because I'm guessing all of those are still relevant to your day job as a captain, but then also applicable to anyone in business or personally as well.
I took a lot out of that process of meeting the interviewees. I think one overarching kind of idea that I think that stuck with me was I went in there thinking a lot of these people was going to be something that happened to them and that kind of kicked them into gear. And it happened with some of them. Richard Scollier had obviously a terrible diagnosis, and that kicked that's kind of been his tested moment. But for a lot of others, they've really taken control of their own life and their own destiny, and they've made the life in the shape of kind of how they want it. And I think that's a lesson for anyone. You don't need some big event for you to have agency over your life and try and take it in the direction that you want it. So that's one. I think thinking does a little bit differently. I loved the idea of looking forward 20 years. What's our sport going to be like? And it's going to be better. It's in certain ways. So how can we try and quicken up that process? What things can we be changing right now, which the sport's just going to take for granted in 10, 20 years? So a few of those ideas I really like and stuck with me.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think final question for today, you talked about players connecting and sort of thinking beyond the game as well in that book. You're playing currently at the highest level. You've already written the book, Pat. It's a reminder that careers evolve. Where do you see yourself beyond cricket? Do you think more modern cricketers are actively planning for life beyond the game, whether it be in business, media coaching, something else? Where does that all fit in?
I don't know about kind of historically if it's much different to now. We all see our teammates who retire and suddenly you go from travelling 10 months a year to now you're home for basically 12 months a year. So I think everyone's always thinking about it. It's it is hard to shift from something you've been doing for a decade to something totally new. Yeah. For me personally, I mean, there's lots of things that I find really interesting. So there's kind of in the business world that really interests me. Obviously, I still love cricket, so in the cricket world, I've got a few charities that I look after, I'm involved with, so that as well. I think there's a few different ideas floating around, but I think I've travelled so much. I think once I finish cricket, spending a bit more time at home with the family and being part of exciting projects with exciting people. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm aiming to do.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, hey, it was a pleasure speaking to you, Pat. Obviously, really appreciate your time getting on this morning. Wish you all the best in your recovery and hope to see you back out on the park soon. Any final words for the fans today?
Thanks, mate. Great chat. Tune into Prime Video for the rest of the Champions Trophy, and obviously the World Test Championship final later on in the year is on Prime Video as well. So sign up, it's great. Some new tech there. I've been doing the rapid recaps when I'm doing bath time and I miss the first hour. So jump on.
Yeah, fantastic. Exactly. All the action's on Prime, so get on there. And it was lovely speaking to you today, Pat. And wish you all the best.
Yeah, have a great day.
That was Australian cricket captain Pat Cummins on the Infinity Cricket podcast. Thanks to Amazon Prime for making it happen. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe and follow Infinity Cricket, and we'd love to see your comments below. Thanks for joining us. Until next time.